In the Star Trek episode Arena, we encounter two more alien species to add to the lore of Star Trek, and we get to witness more of the workings of the Federation and diplomacy and war and how it plays out in the Star Trek universe. So we open up with Kirk and crew on their way to a base on a planet and a distant area of space, roughly unexplored by the Federation. And when Kirk and crew beam down, the whole place has been completely bombed out and devastated. The Enterprise had been lured there by a fake message for them to be invited to the base and visit with the facility and the crew there and what have you. There's only one survivor, it appears, although they do mention there were some others they may have found later. But the point of the story was that they're tricked into going there and then suddenly attacked, and you see how they handle land battles somewhat for Star Trek. This one, especially the base, I'm not sure where this was shot, but the location works very well and is convincing as this futuristic place constructed in the distant galaxy or what have you, or areas of the galaxy rather. And it's also of some importance to note that this may have been the episode where William Shatner suffered terrible injury to his hearing, in that you're supposed to wear earplugs when they have live explosions, which he does his own stunts in some of this, where he's running around dodging the explosions of the Gorn, who will be the aliens we will meet, are attacking them in mortar fire or what have you, just exploding everywhere. Well, Shatner, I'm a tough guy. He refused to wear the earplugs, and well, he developed a condition called tendinitis, which produces a constant whining ring in your hearing. And it gets worse over time. And he complained about this later in life and said it was getting to the point where he had thoughts of suicide. It was driving him up the wall. And he had to have some kind of treatment that helped him alleviate that nuisance, rather, that was driving him nuts. So, when people say you need some protective gear, you might want to listen to them. I understand that Leonard Nimoy himself also developed it, but maybe not as bad as Shatner did. So I don't know. Maybe he did wear the earplugs, and it's still that's pretty close from the looks of it, of the explosion and the sound would be pretty devastating. So protect your ears. You don't want to be stuck with that kind of damage, if not outright going deaf, but having a torturous, ringing like that would just would not be good. But anyway, back to the story. So Kirk is able to fight them off there. Meanwhile, he commanded Sulu to protect the ship and, if necessary, warp out, and so reluctantly Sulu has to do this. But he's able to come back and rescue Kirk and his away team, and they're in hot pursuit of the Gorn vessel as it's heading back deeper into its sector of space. And Kirk is on the chase, but the Gorn ship is a lot faster, so he's really pushing the warp factor, the engines rather, to a great extent. And Scotty's warning him, "Oh, don't do it, you'll melt it down," and all that. And he's burning onto him, and all of a sudden the Gorn ship seems to come to a full stop, and they're like, "Oh man, we got him!" Meanwhile, both ships are being scanned by another third party on a distant planet, and it seems to be harmless enough at first, but then, the Enterprise itself comes to a dead stop, and they have no power other than life support. And surprise, the mysterious planet is apparently the home of a race of people called the Metrons. And here, once again, we meet a race of people who have basically godlike powers, probably near omnipotence. We keep running into entities like that. And once again here, and this is also a plot that'll play out again in Star Trek, where a superior race or entity decides to teach the Enterprise and their adversaries a lesson in war and peace and how to be civilized and all this sort of thing. So Kirk gets abducted by the Metrons along with the captain of the Gorn ship, and of course they're placed in a very famous scene from Star Trek we've seen hundreds of times, one of the many, of Kirk battling a man in a lizard suit. You know, I don't care for the way it was handled, and maybe it's just because I was a kid when I saw it originally, but I buy it completely. Later on, you've seen some versions of the Gorn. I think in the Enterprise series they had them in there, and of course you have them more animal-looking and different features, reptilian-like, and all of that. And fine, well and good. If they ever did bring the Gorn back again for a new series, they could, of course, with CGI and whatnot, have a more accurate depiction of it. However, if you're going to keep within canon, but who am I kidding? They won't. This Gorn seemed to be very slow in moving. He was incredibly strong, even super strong compared to Kirk, but he was very slow. And so when he tried to get it, he had Kirk dead to rights a couple of times, but he was too slow. And Kirk, even though injured, is able to wiggle out and all that sort of thing. But ultimately, the Metron had told them there was plenty of material on this planet that they sent them to devise weapons that they needed to fight one another. And for the most part, they're looking around. Well, there's a bunch of rocks and sticks and clubs maybe, but they didn't really see anything of a weapon there. But after a while, Kirk starts to notice the different minerals, and he's able to develop a crude form of gunpowder, and he blasts the Gorn captain, and he has the moment there to kill the Gorn. And he's been incapacitated and can't resist Kirk, and so the Gorn had fashioned himself like a little rock dagger, if you will, and Kirk was going to grab that and use it to finally finish off the Gorn, and he decides not to. He says, no, I've defeated him and I'm not going to kill him, and reference to the whole idea that this is an arena where the Metron put these two guys there to fight it out, and the winner takes all, basically. He and his ship survives, but if the Gorn captain had lost, then the Gorn ship would be destroyed. And there you go. The Metrons decide, okay, well, Federation, you win this round, and you're free to go. But Kirk says, I'm not going to fight for your entertainment. I'm not going to kill this man for or this creature, if you will, for your entertainment. All that, which is not the point that the Metrons would do it. They weren't doing this for entertainment. They were seeing this, and they're impressed with Kirk's reaction. They didn't anticipate it because they saw him as a savage. And so now he's saying, well, perhaps there is hope for you. So the Gorns return to his ship, and his ship won't be destroyed. They're sent on their way, and the same with the Enterprise. But they were somewhat interested, and they said, well, perhaps we'll speak with your kind again in 1,000 years or so, or something like that. So that's the last you see or hear of the Metron. The actual physical appearance of the Metron was some guy in a sequin gown. So, hey, whatever you're into. But so that was the ultimate outcome there. But it is a theme that repeats itself through Star Trek of the superior aliens, just teaching lessons to humans and aliens and whatnot. So that's how that turns out. And it's all very interesting. It was handled out fairly well. And, of course, you even get a little lesson in chemistry and all that sort of stuff. Would it have worked out as well as it does? I'm not so sure. And the idea that the fuse could be lit and the Kirk could get the spark going fast enough to be able to fire off his crude little cannon there. A bit much, but still. Works out for a tight little story. And of course, the location is often visited by people because it's very recognizable, and you can go get your picture taken on the mysterious planet where Kirk battled the lizard man. It's also a location that's been used ad nauseum by cowboy movies and stuff like that. You just shoot it from this angle and that angle and make it look like they're going on a long journey and all that. And I believe it shows up again in Star Trek. But it's, you shoot you shoot it from a different angle. It looks like a wholly different place. And that's an old, filming trick. So there you go. Arena, and also setting a standard for Star Trek, future Star Trek to come, and, godlike aliens and what have you. So there you go. Thank you for watching and listening. Say, why not like and subscribe, and check out that link description below. That'll take you to my many stores that have plenty of goodies for you. Yes, that's right, you. You can also head over to indieplanet.com and pick yourself up a copy of my comic book, Night Night, which is based on my Night Night audio plays, which I feature on this very channel. Yeah, that's right. So you can actually see Night Night in action rather than just hear him in those audio stories. So do check that out and enjoy. Plus, you can also hear newer episodes of Night Night and other audio plays on my podcast, the Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And, of course, you can watch my videos also on BitChute.com. Yes, check out the Mr Nailsin channel on BitChute.com.